Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mitsuaki Akiyama, NTT. And this is a joint work with Ayako, Hasegawa, and Daisuke Inoue, NICT. Today, I will talk about geographic diversity in usable privacy and security research. Geographic diversity of user study participants is crucial for understanding people globally. However, some research fields have reported a lack of geographic diversity. In psychology, the majority of participants have been reported to be Western, educated, industrialized, rich, and democratic population. This is called weird. In HCI, Linsen published a paper titled How Weird is CHI? CHI is a top HCI conference. This paper confirms the weird skew of participant samples. Our study aims to clarify how weird is usable privacy and security, UPS research. So how does weird skew influence UPS research? Some papers have reported gaps between weird and non-weird populations in security and privacy context. These gaps include differences in misconception, privacy preference, and so on. And of course, there are other potential gaps researchers have yet to discover. Based on these observations, such gaps may harm the generalizability of weird skewed studies. As a result, the findings of these studies may not be beneficial or actionable to non-weird populations. To understand weird skew in UPS, we conducted a systematic literature review. The methodology has two parts. First, we selected papers based on these criteria. We extracted 10 conference papers published in 5 years. And finally, we selected 715 UPS papers. Second, for each paper, we extracted information listed here. Then we analyzed the participant diversity from weird perspective. Based on national statistics, we connect participants' residence country to W, E, I, R, and D. We also connect self-reported education and income to E and R. Next, let me show the results. Before analyzing participant diversity, we calculated how often authors reported participant demographic information. Number one, the number of papers explicitly reporting was surprisingly small. Residence country is 52%, education is 35%, and income is only 6%. Other papers did not report. We tried to infer the residence country and education, and number two is that we successfully inferred. For example, about residence country, if all authors are from the same country and they recruited participants locally, we can infer the residence country participants. We salvaged the paper from number two to use our analysis. Overall, the UPS paper lack demographic reporting, which may cause reproducibility problems. And the lack of demographic reporting is more prevalent in S&P conference papers than in HCI and UPS focus conference papers. Then we investigated the participant samples among papers. In UPS, Western samples account for approximately 80%, and non-Western samples account for only 20%. There is no increase in non-Western samples over 5 years. On the other hand, in HCI, non-Western samples have gradually increased over 5 years and account for 30%. So the skew toward Western samples in UPS is greater than in HCI. This is a worldwide distribution of normalized ratio of participant samples based on the population. A value greater than 1 suggests the country is overrepresented, and a value less than 1 suggests the country is underrepresented. Basically, North America and European countries are overrepresented. In particular, US samples account for 41% of the whole samples, and they are 10 times oversampling. On the other hand, many countries in Africa, South America, the Middle East, and Asia are underrepresented or marginalized. Next, we analyze E, I, R, and D. Most participant samples come from countries with generally highly educated populations that are industrialized, rich, and democratic. Additionally, the majority of individual participants had a higher education level. The reason for this educational skew are recruitment within the author's institution, such as university, and recruitment through crowdsourcing. It says that crowd workers are generally highly educated. Geographic diversity of authors also contribute to the participant skew. 87% of papers were written by only Western affiliated authors. On the other hand, only 3% of papers were written solely by non-Western affiliated authors. We confirm that authors tend to recruit participants only in their own country. 81% of user studies did so. This causes the Western skew participants. Next, we examine participant diversity across different research topics. Participants can be categorized into two types, expert and non-expert. The non-expert group is predominantly Western. In contrast, developers who are a large part of the expert group are relatively diverse because many studies successfully recruit developers from various countries through platforms like GitHub and freelancer websites. Next, we examine studies on the feasibility of cyber attacks. These studies are unique to cybersecurity and aim to demonstrate how proposed attack could work. However, these studies tend to have even more predominantly Western samples. Next, we examine participant diversity based on study method. For interview and lab studies, geographic and linguistic barriers are key factors contributing to participant skew. These barriers often lead to researchers to recruit participants who are closer to them, such as university researchers recruiting their own students. This is because these study methods require close communication with participants. For online surveys, crowdsourcing can help recruit participants beyond geographic barriers. However, the major crowdsourcing platforms like Profic and MTurk mainly target population in the US and the UK, so they do not sufficiently contribute to geographic diversity. Based on these results, we have several recommendations. First, replication studies involving non-weird populations should be promoted more in UPS. UPS-focused conferences such as SOOPS emphasize replication studies in their cohort papers. We additionally suggest that researchers aim not only to examine the generalizability of their findings, but also to identify different insights from diverse populations. Additionally, diversity within program committee is crucial for understanding and evaluating studies involving non-weird populations. Currently, 90% of PC members in UPS are Western-affiliated researchers. So to increase PC diversity, they should recruit researchers from non-Western countries or researchers studying non-weird populations. Next, researchers need to consider reproducibility and participant protection. Many papers lack basic participant demographics. This issue affects the reproducibility of studies. Therefore, researchers need to appropriately report participant demographics while avoiding pre-hacking. This is both for statistical analysis and common pitfall of human-centered research. On the other hand, demographic reporting requires careful consideration to protect participants. For example, there are risks in oversimplifying sensitive demographic issues and in exposing at-risk populations. Therefore, balancing demographic reporting and participant protection is an ethical task for researchers. Next, researchers should explore ways to overcome geographic and linguistic barriers. These barriers often lead to convenience sampling, where researchers recruit participants who are closer to them. Online recruiting can help overcome geographic barriers. However, it has its own challenges as listed here. For example, only people with internet access can participate, and so on. Additionally, linguistic barriers remain unsolved. To overcome these barriers, improving author diversity and collaborating with local researchers are complementary solutions. Finally, research justice is a critical ethical consideration in conducting research on non-weird populations. Researchers need to avoid helicopter research, also known as neo-colonial research. This type of research can easily lead to unilateral exploitation. For example, making round trip to the global south to conduct research without involving local collaborators, communities, or facilities. To avoid helicopter research, researchers should prioritize equal and synergistic collaboration with local researchers and communities as key principles. So thank you for your attention. I'm happy to answer any question.